Okay, so today we're going to discuss the order of operations. And an operation is just what you do to the numbers. So we follow the order PEMDAS, or please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, which stands for parentheses. So we do what's inside parentheses first. So 3 plus 5 is 8. And then excuse, which deals with exponents, where we would solve this second. So 2 to the third is 8. Multiplication and division, which go together. Multiplication isn't always before division. What determines it is if I had 2 times 5 divided by 2. I start coming from the left and I do what appears first. So I would do 2 times 5, which is 10, divided by 2, which is 5. But if it came this way and it was 2 divided by 4 times 5, I would do division first. 8 divided by 4, which is 2, times 5 equals 10. So these two, sometimes you don't have multiplication, so sometimes you have to do division first, or sometimes multiplication comes up first. So that's how we determine those two. But we do multiplication or division after exponents. So we'd get 2 times 5 is 10, and then 8 divided by 4, which is 2. And then the same thing goes for addition and subtraction. It just depends on which shows up first, which one you do first. So then 4 plus 3, which is 7, 8 minus 1, which is 7. And then, so we're going to use this order, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, to solve some long equations. So for each one of these, we're going to follow our order of operations. So first we do parentheses, but in this first problem there are no parentheses, so we don't have to worry about that. Next we do we do exponents, but again, we don't have any exponents, so we don't have to worry about that. Next comes multiplication or division. So we start here, and since division shows up first, we're going to do that. 2 divided by 5, 25 divided by 5, which is 5, and then I'm going to rewrite the rest of this. I like to do it one step at a time at first, because until you get really good at using your order of operations, it helps keep everything straight in your head. So next we're still doing multiplication and division. So 5 times 4 is 20, and we're going to copy this down. I'm still on multiplication and division, and since I still have one more multiplication, I'm going to do that first. So 20 minus 15 times 8, which is 120. So 20 minus 120 gives me a negative 100. Okay, so for this next one, we have these things out here which are called brackets. And a bracket separates a part of an equation from another part of an equation. So what we do first for this one is the thing inside the parentheses. So 12 divided by, we're going to leave our brackets up, 8 divided by 2, which is 4, times 3 divided by 3, which is 1, and we leave those in the brackets. So the brackets are just another form of parentheses, which separates a whole part of an equation from another part. So now what we do is what's inside brackets first. So 4 times 1, which gives us 4, and now we can do our exponents, but we don't have any. So then we go to multiplication and division, and the only thing left is division, so then we do 12 divided by 4, and we get 3. So for this last one I have for you, it's kind of tricky. Okay, so when we solve this one, we're going to treat the top and the bottom like two separate equations. And then our very last step is going to be actually dividing the top by the bottom. So we're going to do order of operations for the top and the bottom separately. So for order of operations, first for the top, we have parentheses. But there are no parentheses, and there aren't any exponents, so then we go to multiplication and division. So the first thing that shows up is multiplication. So we do 3 times 2, which is 6, and then I'm going to rewrite the whole top. Okay. And I'm going to do my order of operations on the bottom too, our first step. It would be parentheses, which we don't have, and next is exponents. So 3 squared is 9, plus 2 squared is 4, plus 1 squared is 1. So then we're going to start with the top again. What comes after our multiplication? Well, division or multiplication, depending on what comes up first. Since division comes up first, we're going to divide 6 divided by 6. So we get 1 plus 2 times 3 divided by 6 over, and our next step for the bottom is going to be addition, since that's the only thing that's left. So, and since addition is commutative, we can do all this addition at once. So 9 plus 4, which is 13, plus 1, which is 14. Now I still got some work to do on the top. I can't finish this completely yet. So the next thing, I'm still on multiplication and division. The next thing that shows up is multiplication. So 1 plus 2 times 3, which is 6, divided by 6 over 14. So we're still on multiplication and division, and we're going to get 1 plus 6 divided by 6, which is 1, over 14. If we do our last step on the top, which is addition, we're going to get 2 over 14, and we're going to reduce this fraction. We're not actually going to divide it and get a decimal. We're going to leave it as a fraction just because it's easier. But I can reduce this by 2's. 2 goes into 2 once, 2 goes into 14 7 times. So our final answer is 1/7. So that's all of our review for order of operations. Just remember the phrase, "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally," every time you're going to solve an equation. But make sure you come back and watch your next video, which is going to be on opposites and absolute values.